Good afternoon, evening, wherever you are, morning. This is Charlie Danley, personal trainer. I just got through training a client. I'm sitting in my car because I have to park on the street and, lunchtime. And, every now and then I'll have a client that has to confront me on my prices, right? And so, I just want to be real when it comes to financial fitness. Um, and the fitness of your lifestyle, right? Now, we basically casually spent uh, the whole session, he and I, talking about the Super Bowl, right? And the amount of money that people were betting on the Super Bowl you know, uh, with those sites, like FanDuel and DraftKings, and I've participated in that. I played fantasy football for 20 years, and I retired on the 20th year. I won my league twice, though, and this was before fantasy football was FanDuel football. You know what I'm saying? Or DraftKings football. It ain't fantasy no more. It's straight up gambling. And so he confronted me about my prices because, things are happening. You have to raise your prices because the price of milk has gone up, right? And when the gym raises prices, you have to raise your prices to meet those margins to make a profit so that I could buy a banana. And we were talking about that. And before we talked about that, he was bragging about the money he spent on this game, the Super Bowl, the past Super Bowl, almost to the fact that he was just throwing it in the wind, yeah, man, I almost won. At one point, I was up $1 million, And I'm going to say this because I know he's not going to train with me anymore because he confronted me about the expenses. And I thought about that and I said, let me look up the winning percentage of DraftKings and all those. And I looked it up. And lo and to my surprise, it's pretty pathetic, right? And here's the rundown. 1.3% of all the winnings of DraftKings 91% of all the winnings of DraftKings, for the most part, goes to 1.3% of the players. And, hold on, it gets better. 2% of the remaining 100% of the winnings are spread out in trifling amounts. So while you sit there and say, yeah, man, I spent $100, but I won 18 back, you are part of that statistic. 1.3%. So for the 1.3% of the people that have figured out how to monopolize DraftKings and FanDuels and all that, hey, thumbs up. I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. You done maxed it out until somebody says something about it. But here's my problem is I went on social media because I'm trying to get more awareness of how to use fitness into your life for other places. And financial fitness is a big deal, right? Because we got a lot of things that we're taking in now from social media. And you got to know what to believe and what not to believe. Just like fitness, you got to know what works and what won't work, right? I mean, when you see somebody hanging from a squat rack with a bench tied to their hips, you might get a laugh and he might get 1 million views, but I guarantee you when he's my age, when he gets out his car, he's going to have a wheelchair. So go ahead and laugh if you want to laugh. Go ahead and be funny at your detriment if you want those 1 million viewers. But danger is danger, and it always wins in the end. And if you're dangerously putting your money up on those gambling sites, you're going to lose. That's just it. And you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. And it's going to hurt. Now, I wrote about this in my book, The Power of the Fitness Mind. I wrote about financial fitness. And I wrote about this exact thing, but not for these gambling, football fantasy, or sports fantasy, daily fantasy sites. It was more I was basically juxtaposing you being in Vegas and budgeting for $1,000. You can live with $1,000. But when you lose and you try to get that 1,000 back and you lose 5,000, ooh, you're going to get injured, right? Financially. That's a financial injury that is hard to recover from for the average person. Now, these websites, that I'm participating on, Facebook, Instagram, same thing, Meta, and all the other ones that have groups for you to get involved with, that allow these gambling websites to run ads, millions of dollars worth of ads, and recruit young people with their mama's money that they got for the weekend or whatever. You're going to lose that money to those people, to those websites. You're just going to lose. You can look at the stats yourself. Go ahead. If you find that the winning percentage is greater for the average person that doesn't know what they're doing or just doing it for fun is greater than the losing average, please, comment about this. I want to know, because I couldn't find it. All I found was, you're just going to lose. And I personally know. And look, I played fantasy football for 20 years, like I said, and I won a couple of times. So I was pretty good when I went out. But I was just exhausted from it because emotionally it had me looking at the game from a gambling perspective instead of a entertainment perspective. And I'm not saying don't participate on these things, but you got to check yourself, man. This guy would rather lose all his money on a gambling website, like DraftKings, than to spend his money on his own health and fitness that could improve the quality of his life. That's a tough one to swallow, I liked it, guy. That's a tough one to swallow. So, for all of you out there that are participating, don't get tricked on fool's gold. If you win the first time, you're going to lose 10 times, okay? Don't get fooled, all right? And always know how much you're going to budget when you get on these websites. Don't allow yourself to get trapped in trying to get what you lost. Accept the loss, live with the loss, save your money, and budget to play again if you think that's fun in your life. If you got throwaway money and you want to do that, then do it. Young and old, whoever you are. But when you are sacrificing things that mean more to your body and your mind, for ego's sake, you got to check yourself. I hope you find this message hopeful. You can follow me at CD Trainer on Instagram. You can also look at some of my videos that I'm trying to learn and get better at in delivering fitness messages that aren't just about your biceps and triceps, but what your biceps and triceps mean in the real world when you get fit. You can follow me on YouTube at PodFM. That's Power of the Fitness Mind. Abbreviation, Power of the Fitness Mind. POTFM dash versus, VERSES. PodFM dash versus. And I'm just speaking juxtaposely most of the time. Sometimes I'm off script. Sometimes I'm just a little crazy. But, I'm always mostly coming from a fitness perspective because I've been a personal trainer in Hollywood at a very high level for 30 years. All right? When I say high level, I mean people that have to be in shape because they got cameras in their face for a living. They making muka ha ha ha, mucha cha cha cha, whatever. I don't know. All right? All right. This is Charlie Danley, personal trainer. Peace.